You know what's the obstacle that separates you from financial freedom? In most cases, our lives are heavily tied to our jobs, relationships, and daily routines, leaving us with very little time to consider and plan our future. But if your true desire is to achieve financial independence, you must take action. Financial independence is achieved when you can live the life you desire without being defined by it. Though the path to financial freedom requires discipline and self-control, it's not beyond your reach. What you need are some habits that will lead you in the right direction. Here are 15 simple habits that can help you financially. Before we begin, please give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Now, without further ado, let's start. Number 1. Wake up early to start the day with an advantage. Have you ever wondered why the rich wake up early? Many do it because they want to start the day with an advantage, not just to be the first, but because they want to be the first. The truth is, when you wake up early, you have more time to plan your day and work on your goals, which gives you an edge over the competition. Though it's hard to wake up early, especially for those who aren't used to it, you'll find that once you do, you can accomplish much more before others. And remember, it's not just about waking up early, it's about making the most of the time you're awake. Number 2. The difference between an asset and a liability. The poor never know what a good buy and a bad buy are. After they make money, the poor spend it. That's how they stay poor. Let me explain it simply. An asset is something that generates money while a liability costs money, and that's a liability. The problem here is that the poor never realize what a liability is. For example, both the car you use to go shopping and the house you live in are liabilities. They don't generate income, but they require money to keep running. The same goes for your new iPhone, stylish clothes, your flat-screen TV, and everything you bought without thinking. On the other hand, the rich focus all their time and money on acquiring more assets, like buying an apartment that generates income, writing a book that generates revenue, buying a share of a successful business, among others. Number 3, you're not entitled to anything. The rich know that the world can take everything away if they don't have income, while the poor always look for someone to take care of them. Being born into a wealthy family definitely has its advantages. You have access to better tools, better resources, and you don't have to worry about basic needs. However, you open yourself up to new threats that poor people don't have to face. There's much more to lose if you're not careful, so the pressure is always present. It's really important that the rich teach their children that, despite having an advantage, the road ahead is long, and they need to focus on growth, not just keeping up, or they won't succeed in life. It depends on their own actions because parents' money doesn't go far. Fortunes of families where children feel overly privileged often crumble by the third generation. First, there's someone who's truly hungry and works incredibly hard to build wealth. Secondly, their children grow up feeling that all they need to do is maintain the wealth. Lastly, the third generation loses its hunger, feels entitled to success without work or sacrifice, and usually spends recklessly. Number 4. How to be sociable and connect with other people. You'd think more people would realize what it means to have pleasant interactions with others. Successful folks socialize their kids before they hit 4. I'm not kidding. And here's why. If your kid socializes early on, other kids will want to play with them. If they behave well, other parents will want to take care of them when they play with theirs. This has a massive snowball effect throughout life. If people like being around you, it accumulates and doors open for you. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Teachers will treat you better, you'll have access to better job opportunities, make better friends. So, there's a whole tree of benefits that grows from early socialization. Number 5. Stop expecting instant results and avoid magical thinking. We're so used to this instant environment. Want to watch a movie on Netflix, want to eat, you cook or order delivery, want intimacy, Tinder. Most folks don't realize that wealth and happiness aren't in the same category. The less fortunate expect to get rich quick, to win a big sum of money, or inherit a property. They have this strange expectation that somehow they'll magically become better off. The irony is even if they somehow get a significant amount of money, they often lack the education to know what to do with it and eventually end up losing everything. Rich parents make it a priority to teach their kids to play the long game. Long-term thinking is one of the best differentiators of the wealthy. Something really interesting we found out is how much progress one can make by thinking about life in large periods of time, like 10 or 20 years. There's a very insightful quote from an interview where Bill Gates said most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. Instead of planning just for the next year, why not start planning your next decade? And maybe this time take some action. Number 6. How to develop daily habits that provide incredible long-term advantages. One of the most valuable skills you can impart to your kids is the ability to create habits for themselves. Habits are powerful, and once you realize how valuable they can be, your life changes. It usually takes about 21 days to form a new habit, and once that period is over, you get into a rhythm. That habit becomes an intrinsic part of who you are. Not reading enough? Make reading a habit. Want to stay fit but lack motivation to go to the gym? Make that a habit. The same goes for work. If you develop the habit of organizing and optimizing your workflow, large chunks of your day will open up to other activities. Rich individuals use the power of habits to move forward in life, while the less fortunate cultivate harmful habits that lead their lives into decay. The power of habit is a magnificent tool. The wealthy consciously choose habits that drive wealth creation as part of their daily routine, while the less fortunate opt for negative patterns. Pay attention to the kinds of habits you're teaching your kids, remembering that children learn more from your actions than your words. Number 7. Money is a tool and something positive. How many times have you heard people say that money is the root of all evil? Perhaps too often. Think about the person you heard making that comment. How successful do they seem? Do you believe they're truly happy? The less fortunate blame the lack of money for their misfortunes and associate a negative connotation with it. This is because even when they get money, additional problems arise that they don't know how to deal with. The rich take the opposite approach, understanding that money is simply a tool used to navigate life. They're just pieces of paper and plastic with designs exchanged for material value. Nothing more and nothing less. Stop personalizing money so much and use it for the purpose it was created for, improving your quality of life. It's similar to scissors. You can cut hair with them or cause injuries. Why some people choose the latter option will remain a great mystery to us. When you start seeing money as a tool, the game abruptly changes, and you stop hurting yourself with it. Number 8. Increase earnings instead of reducing expenses. One of the most valuable lessons a parent can impart to their child is how to generate more money. It takes the same level of effort and work whether you're striving to survive modestly or build a fortune. This might seem peculiar to some, but it's the truth. The difference lies in the focus and knowledge you use to support that effort. The smarter you are from a financial standpoint, the less effort you need to exert in the real world. That's why Wall Street professionals earn much more than miners. Who do you think is investing more effort? People with fewer resources are always focused on cutting expenses to the maximum, often to the point of making life almost unbearable. Do you think the rich worry about buying a coffee at Starbucks or going to the movies? Conversely, the rich direct all their attention to increasing the amount of money coming in. If you drastically increase your earnings, you'll always have large sums of money at the end of the month. People with fewer resources teach their children to cut expenses, while the rich focus on increasing their earnings. Combine this with lesson number 2 on this list, and you've officially won the money game. Number 9. Knowledge is more valuable than money in the long run. The phrase we often hear is, investing in yourself pays the best dividends. Sounds easy, right? But it has very little to do with attending schools or reading books. It has much more to do with increasing the value you represent to the world. The world rewards people who are valuable because valuable people can create value for others, and in return for that value, they can get what they want. The concept of becoming a valuable person is rarely conveyed to children by the less fortunate, and even some of the rich only mention it when the child is growing up. But those who see a higher likelihood of success achieve greater happiness. There are many ways to be valuable, from holding a position in a company to creating a product or service that people need, to even showcasing your talent to the world. The more valuable you are, the richer you will become. The only way to be valuable is through increasing knowledge, skill level, and time. Learn to be better and then practice enough to start seeing noticeable differences. If it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill, That's why the rich make their children try out many skills to gain an edge in that number of hours. Someone with knowledge can always generate money as they are valuable to the market. The reverse isn't always true. Sometimes knowledge can be too expensive to buy. Number 10. Don't work for money, make money work for you. That's the essence of becoming rich. The less fortunate exchange their time for money and then spend it. The rich use the money they earn to generate more money. There are significant differences in the financial approach of these two categories of people. Employees, many remain in the less fortunate category because they believe they need large amounts of money to invest. However, that doesn't make sense. The rich are always looking for ways to add the smallest drop to the passive income bucket they can find because it's not so much about the quantity, but about freeing up your time. It's possible to start a business today with less than $1 if you know what you're doing, or even for free, as long as you're willing to invest time. Once you generate enough income, use that money to pay someone to perform the tasks you used to do to keep the business running while you focus on growth and other areas. The concept of passive income and understanding how to use money to generate more money are fundamental to any wealth-building strategy. Whenever someone asks us what the first book everyone should read if they want to get rich is, our answer is always Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Solving problems is the fastest way to get rich. Something the wealthy quickly teach their kids is the fundamental difference between earning a salary and becoming rich. We explain that less fortunate individuals are paid to perform tasks that someone needs, such as delivering newspapers, washing cars, answering phones, among other repetitive tasks. The rich avoid repetitive jobs as they can be easily outsourced. Instead, they focus on solving significant problems. The more significant the problem you solve, the richer you will become. Delivering newspapers turns into creating a content website, achieving the same result with less effort. Answering phones becomes message automation. Let's look at 3 iconic modern entrepreneurs: Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. They all became significantly wealthy by solving problems for humanity and creating products and services to meet that demand. People are willing to pay for you to solve their problems. Teach this to your children, and they will excel in life. Number 12. Don't waste time on things that have no correlation with the real world. We apologize for the interest, but ethnic or gender studies are not valued in the job market. The same goes for careers and studies in journalism, cinema, media, history, or fine arts. To be honest, we feel that the current educational system is quite disorganized. Often, you're accumulating debt for skills that have little direct correlation with the job market you'll be entering. Unless you genuinely fall in love with any of these subjects and dedicate time to master them, you have a better opportunity to do so on your own. Number 13, how to use good debt instead of bad debt. Like the less fortunate do. If there are 2 types of debt, bad debt leads to poverty while good debt leads to wealth. If your parents never mentioned this to you, it's likely they didn't know. This is one of the choices the rich discovered long ago. Other people and institutions will actually help you get richer faster if you know the difference between these 2 types. This is about the purpose of debt. The less fortunate take out loans with the purpose of spending money on liabilities. They borrow to buy a new car, get a new phone, or cover everyday expenses. The rich, on the other hand, only borrow money to make more money. Banks and investors are willing to lend money for such projects, as long as you can clearly explain how your money will be safe and how you'll be able to repay it. This is how people build wealth. They borrow to expand their investment base and then pay off that debt with the profits from those investments. Just as you can't spend before making money, you can't get rich before investing and growing the money. Remember that. Everyone faces failures and makes mistakes. If you don't have the ability to deal with defeat, you'll never truly succeed. This means you should be failing all the time. The more you fail, the closer you'll be to your next success. The more you encounter defeat, the more opportunities you'll have to learn from your mistakes. This lesson should be instilled from the very beginning. Remember that you don't need to be rich to have a wealthy mindset. The wealthy aren't afraid of failure because they fail often. In fact, they fail more frequently than less fortunate people because they take more risks. If you want to be rich, prepare to fail, just as the wealthy teach their children how to be rich. The great advantage they have in life is that they usually know other wealthy people. Children benefit simply by being in an environment where they're surrounded by successful people. They can learn and grow largely because they don't have a limiting mindset. Some less fortunate people have blamed other successful people for their wealth, claiming it was the result of dirty tricks. However, the reality is that the wealthy simply accept the fact that wealth is a game and they play it better than most people. Number 15, the power of choice. Financial freedom is intrinsically linked to the power of choice. The wealthy understand this and teach their children from a very young age. Choice is one of the greatest blessings anyone can have in life, and financial freedom provides most of that freedom. If you have money, you can decide where you live, what cars you drive, what school you attend, and what you do with your time. You have the freedom to travel, meet people, experience new cultures, volunteer, or create your own nonprofit organization. Financial freedom provides choice. The choice to follow your passion, to have control over your life, and to live the way you choose. After all, true wealth lies in your ability to make choices, not in how much money you have in your bank account. In summary, the 15 habits that have been discussed are essential for anyone wishing to achieve financial independence. While it's not easy to change established habits, it's possible with discipline and effort. The key is to be consistent and persistent in your pursuit of financial freedom. Remember that the path to wealth isn't easy, but with dedication and hard work, it's possible to achieve it. So, start implementing these habits in your life today and take the first step towards financial independence.